Hey, have you ever been in a situation where you are believing God for something? You are standing on His word and you are standing on His promises for something, but somehow you are feeling like something is holding you back. You are feeling like something is getting in the way of you believing in God. If you are such a person, I am here to tell you that take heart, for you are not the only one or the first person to be in that situation. In the Bible, there is a story in the book of Mark chapter 9, 20 to 29, where Jesus heals this boy, and it goes as follows. Jesus walks into a town and he finds all of this commotion, and he walks over to the scene and he asks what is happening. And the father to the little boy who is demon possessed walks to Jesus and explains to Jesus and says that your disciples are actually praying for my son, trying to cast out a demon, but they are failing. And Jesus kind of sighs in disappointment and says, this faithless generation, how long shall I bear with you? And Jesus asked to say, bring the boy to me. And the moment they want to bring the boy to Jesus, it says the demon convulses the boy, throws him to the ground, and the boy begins to foam at the mouth, right? And the father sees this happening, and it kind of inspires fear in his heart. And so Jesus asked the question, how long has this been going on? And the father answers, ever since he was a child, this demon has thrown him in the water and thrown him in the fire, trying to destroy him. So if you can, please have compassion and help us, right? And then Jesus extends this challenge to the boy's dad. And Jesus says, if you can believe, anything is possible to him who believes. And we all know this, that without faith, it is impossible to please God. Faith is the currency of heaven. Faith is the only thing that ever moves God. It's not our emotions, it's not our tears, our excitement, it's just faith. So Jesus tells this man, if you can believe, anything is possible to him who believes. And this man, without skipping a beat, responds to Jesus. He cries out and says, I believe, help my unbelief. So as much as this dad heard that Jesus is a miracle worker and Jesus has healed people and Jesus has delivered people, he's been casting out demons out of people, and Jesus can do that. But this man was also seeing this demon convulse his son. This man was at the same time seeing the manifestation just happen from this demon, and that was inspiring fear in his heart, and that was inspiring doubt in his heart. So this shows me, when this man says, I believe, help my unbelief, when he made that plea, when he made that statement, it shows me that faith and unbelief are not always mutually exclusive. It's not like one will exist at the expense of the other. Sometimes the two will exist simultaneously, they'll exist at the same time. Sometimes the two will coexist, right? The thing you need to know is, how does faith come? Faith comes by hearing, and hearing of God's word. But how does unbelief come? Unbelief comes from the things that we see. It comes from the things that we hear. Unbelief comes from the things that we test, the things that we touch, like it's mainly like the physical senses. You see something, it makes you afraid, because you saw something or you heard something, and now you believe your marriage will crumble. You believe you're going to lose that job. You all of a sudden believe that something bad is going to happen to you, that sickness is going to kill you, and This is what unbelief is. Unbelief is not the lack of faith, it's not the lack of belief. Unbelief is simply belief in the negative. Belief that the thing that you see is so powerful and it's going to happen. And it's believing that thing way more than you believe God's word. And it says, so even when you believe God's word and you believe that God can act in your life, and God is a healer, and God is a provider, and God is a compassionate God, but if you have these other beliefs as well, where you still look at your bank account and you see that the account balance is low, you're believing for a relationship and you still don't see any prospects on the horizon. You are believing for a promotion, but it doesn't seem like anything will happen. Or you're just believing for a job and you don't seem to be getting any opportunities. When you see those things could foster and inspire unbelief in your heart. But that's when you are supposed to cry out to God and say, God, I believe, help my unbelief.